Alright, so a lot of people have been asking about my story, and I like to share it with anyone who wishes to know, so here it goes. I was 8 years old and went to Awana's, which is a little youth group for kids up to, I don't know, middle school I think it was, and we were called Sparkies. So I'm with my little Sparky buddies and doing a relay race at the end of the night, running around the circle where we'd have to hand off a baton to our next teammate and get like 3 people through. Obviously winner is the first group completed. I grabbed the baton from my teammate and started running and was super excited because I was going to win the race, you know, for our whole team. And I just remember falling, like I tripped over nothing and just fell into the middle of this circle that everybody is running around, and just like laying there for a moment on this scratchy old brown carpet, and the voices of the people cheering and talking and playing were getting very distorted and just unnatural sounding as my consciousness seemed to be fading away. My vision was like that in the movies where someone is dying and it just started going in. And eventually I don't remember anything else from the rest of that night, because once the vision went black, apparently my memory was gone. So a nurse who saw me fall called my parents and got me an MRI the next day at a hospital here in Humboldt County. And we went to a brain specialist who found out I had a tumor in my brain stem and spinal cord, right up in here, right jammed up in there, and it was called Juvenile Pilocytic Astrocytoma, and that tumor is benign, or it was. It's one of, I don't know, it spreads, I was told, like cancer if it ever comes back. It'll just be riddled basically with tumors. Luckily, that is not my situation. My surgeon, Dr. Michael Edwards, who I believe is now in Stanford, we did this procedure in UCSF, San Francisco. So after I fell at Awana's and we discovered the brain tumor, I went down to UCSF on Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, and they actually opened the operating room and that whole area of the hospital just for me, because I should have been dead at like age 3 or 4. People don't tend to make it to 8 years old because the tumor kills them before usually being discovered or removed. So, lucky me, I got to be a little miracle child, and Dr. Edwards operated on my brain with another surgeon named Sir Sillo, who was another brain specialist. They worked on me for 8 hours it took to extract the tumor, and I was asleep for 10 hours, and during, I'm guessing, well, it would have had to have been the 2 hours after having the tumor removed, I had a near-death experience where, or I died. I say I died because I feel I left my body completely, and the only reason I'm here right now is because I actually made the choice to come back and share this with everyone that wants to listen. And so basically in this experience, I was standing in a field, or I don't even know if I'd call it a field. I'm saying that now because I'm standing in a field of grass. So the one in my vision was similar. Grass is everywhere, bright green, lush setting. The sky was filled with like golden clouds, and like a sunset that was going down, but I didn't remember looking at the sun. These beautiful golden clouds, like paintings almost in the sky. And I remember looking way out into my vision as far as I could see, and there's a forest out at the far edge, and I could see a dark area where this forest was that was obviously a path. Like, I could walk in and I could choose to stay there and be in this beautiful place that was just like home here in Humboldt County. But I'm holding my dad's dead cat who had passed away about 2-3 months before this whole ordeal happened. So petting Reen and knowing I have the choice to go here and stay, go into this forest and stay, and be blissful and have no more pain and no more hardship, suffering. But something in me just kept saying, no, I'm not ready yet. I've got more to do. And it was nothing telling me this. It wasn't God telling me to go back and share the story. It was my choice. And it made me come to realize that I am God. And now this may sound a little crazy for some of you, but I truly believe that the Creator, the Source, whatever we're all sparked from, is in all of us, and we're all from it like drops in the ocean. And so how can you really separate yourself from this being? I think people like to give away their own responsibilities to a source outside themselves. That's my name. I use the name Source for what many call God or the goddess. But I think people give away their responsibility and their power to an ideal outside themselves too often. And this just didn't resonate with me. So I decided up there, out there, in here, wherever I was, that I needed to come and experience more on this earth and share my story with others. So then the next memory I have is opening my eyes in the ICU and seeing a little boy on a table who had tubes going in him everywhere. My vision, I know that I couldn't quite properly see what was going on or understand it, probably because the amount of drugs from the hospital being pumped into my system. But after that instance, I remember falling back to sleep and opening my eyes and clearly seeing at the end of my bed someone who I've actually met here on Earth. Now, I hadn't met them at that point, but when I saw that figure at the end of my bed, I called it an angel, and that angel, that was like my message. When I saw that, instantly, I just knew I was going to be okay. I was fine. I was back here on Earth, and I was in my body and capable of thinking and moving, and that's really all I needed. So I fall back asleep again, and the next time I awaken is when my mom is walking out of the room to go get dinner. I bolt upright out of my bed to, yell at them, like, wait, come back, I'm awake, I'm alive. And when I I sat up, the body sat up, and then my consciousness rose up into the body and hit it as my mom turned around and was coming back in the room. And everybody, the doctors in that room, well, nurses, I'm not sure any doctor was in there at that moment, the nurses in the room, and my parents came in, and everybody was just shocked. They were expecting a lot worse out of my situation because I was told I could be anything. I could be a vegetable, or I could have problems ranging anywhere from weakness to mental disabilities to paralyzation of any part or parts of my body. But I was left with only strabismus, which is double vision, where I see two of everything. And I've had this since I was 8 years old, but I'm still able to read, write, walk, and do all that just as normally as anyone else. Only I get to see two of everything. And sometimes that makes me feel lucky, and other times it just gives me migraines and messes with, my ability to work on some things I enjoy, like computer editing on photos and videos and things. The vision really messes with that aspect sometimes, but other than that, what's to complain about? So I guess that's pretty much all I can say for right now about that aspect of my story. I guess I could include that I've had 5 eye surgeries on my muscles to try to straighten those, where I've gone in and had slip knots in my eye, where after the surgery, the next day you have to lay in a chair, don't move, but they put droplets in your eye to numb it, and then they work on a slip knot stitch. And that is probably one of the hardest things I've had to deal with in all of my medical procedures over the years. And that just, it's like Clockwork Orange, if you've ever seen that, in the sense that your eyes are being pried open by people, and they're digging right in there with these sharp tools that can just stab you in the eye and destroy everything. So it's a real test to your will to sit there and not grab or knock away people doing these things. And so I feel through all of my experiences I've been taught to really be able to embrace the things that I don't like, because they do bring about change or possibilities to bring in what you do like. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much what I've got to say for now. If you have any questions, feel free to comment or email me. You can also add me on Facebook, facebook.com/SkyLoveDancer, and we can talk there as well. Thank you for listening.